He used to tape them to the fridge every time I gave him a new drawing. He'd hold it like it was made of gold. Then he'd look at me, real serious, and say, "This belongs in a museum." But it always ended up on the fridge, sometimes crooked, sometimes overlapping the grocery list or one of Mom's sticky notes, but always there right in the center where he could see it. My favorites were the ones I made just for him, like the picture of us flying through the clouds in a rocket ship made of pancakes. He laughed so hard at that one he nearly dropped his coffee. He said my drawings made the world look better, so I kept drawing. Every afternoon after school, I'd pull out my crayons, the fat kind that make your fingers sticky, and get to work. He liked when I used lots of yellow, sunshine color, he called it, said it reminded him of my laugh. I didn't always understand what I was drawing. Sometimes it was just shapes and stars and scribbles, but he always found meaning. "This one," he'd say, obviously a dragon teaching a giraffe how to swim. And I'd nod like he was right because he always felt right. Then one day, he got sick. First, it was little things. He stopped going to work. He got tired climbing stairs. He didn't laugh as loud, but he still looked at my drawings. He'd sit in his chair, the one by the window, and I'd climb onto the armrest and show him what I made that day. He'd say, "Museum worthy, as always," even when his voice got quieter, even when the color started to fade from his cheeks like water leaking out of a painting. Then one morning, he didn't come to the table, didn't sit in the chair, didn't look at the drawing I left on his pillow. The night before, a picture of him and me, holding hands, standing on top of the world. Mom said he was resting more now, that the medicine made him sleepy. So I made more drawings, one for each day he stayed in bed. I left them by his door. Some had dinosaurs, some had stars. One had just a big yellow sun with the words "Get Well" written in wobbly letters. He never answered, but I kept drawing. Then one day, the door to his room stayed open. Mom was inside, sitting on the edge of the bed. Her eyes were red, like she hadn't slept. She wasn't talking, just staring. I stepped inside, holding a drawing I made that morning, a house with a tree and 3 people smiling in the yard. I said, "Look, I made one for Dad." Mom looked at me, her lip trembling. She reached out, pulled me into her arms, and whispered, "He's not here anymore, sweetheart." I didn't understand. The bed was still there. His slippers were still by the rug. His pillow still had the shape of his head. How could someone be gone when all their things were still here? I asked. "Where did he go?" She hugged me tighter. "Somewhere peaceful," she said. "Somewhere full of sunshine." I looked at the drawing in my hand, the one with 3 people. I didn't want to crumple it. I didn't want to throw it away. So I folded it carefully and placed it under his pillow, just in case. The house felt strange after that. Not loud or quiet, just missing something, like a song that suddenly forgets its melody. His chair by the window stayed empty. I'd pass by it and feel like he'd come back any second, say something silly, like, "Well, someone shrunk the sun while I was gone." But he didn't. I started saving the drawings, not just making them, saving them. Before, I'd hand them over with a smile and a proud "Look what I made." But now, I kept them in a box under my bed. Each one folded carefully, with dates written on the back in shaky handwriting. Mom didn't ask much. She watched me draw, sometimes sitting beside me on the carpet, sometimes just passing by with that soft, faraway look in her eyes. One evening, she brought me a folder thick and worn. "I found this in the closet," she said. "He kept every single drawing you ever gave him." I opened it slowly. Inside were pages of color, crumpled stars, dinosaurs with 3 legs, rainbows that went off the paper, and a note I barely remembered writing. "For Dad, because you laugh the best." I didn't cry, not then. I just felt full, like the sadness had arms, and they were hugging me from the inside. That night, I added a new drawing to the folder. It was a spaceship made of yellow bricks, flying through a sky full of stars. I wrote on the bottom, "You forgot to take me with you." Then I tucked it into the pile, as if he'd flipped through the pages from wherever he was. At T-school, other kids talked about their dads, soccer games, barbecues, helping fix a bike. I just smiled politely. When they asked about mine, I said, "He's away, but he gets my drawings." They didn't understand, but I didn't need them to. Every Sunday, I drew something new. It became a ritual, like brushing my teeth, like setting the table for 2 even when there was only me and Mom. Sometimes, I drew quiet things. A garden, a field with tall grass, a single bird in the sky. Other times, I drew us together, me and Dad riding comets, building castles out of clouds, dancing on top of the moon. I liked those the most. One day, I asked Mom if she thought he could really see them. She didn't answer right away. Then she said, "I think when love is strong enough, it finds a way to see everything." That was enough for me. As though I kept drawing, and I kept saving them, not because I was waiting for him to come back, but because it was the only way I knew how to keep giving him something, the way I used to, the way I always would. I don't remember exactly when the box got full. It just happened. One day I went to slide another drawing inside, a picture of me holding Dad's hand while he held a star in the other, and it wouldn't close properly. It bulged a little now, the edges worn from too much love. But I didn't want to stop. As though I started a second box. And that was when I realized something. I wasn't just drawing for him anymore. I was drawing with him, because every time I picked up a crayon, I could hear him in my head. "Needs more yellow. Champ, make that cloud smile. Hey, is that me riding a dolphin?" And I'd smile without even meaning to. It stopped feeling like sadness, started feeling like conversation. Mom noticed. "You seem lighter lately," she said one morning, while buttering toast. "I think he's still talking to me." I told her. She nodded, not surprised. "I think you might be right." One afternoon, she took me to the attic. We moved some dusty boxes and pulled down an old photo album. Inside were pictures I'd never seen. Dad as a kid, Dad as a teenager with messy hair, Dad holding me the day I was born, his eyes puffy, his smile huge. I traced my finger over the pictures, and it felt like I was remembering something I hadn't lived. Mom said, "He loved to draw too, you know." I didn't know. She pulled out a folder from under the album. Inside were pages filled with little comics he'd made when he was younger, goofy characters, talking animals, superheroes with silly names. "They're not perfect," she said. "They're his," I whispered. That night, I added something new to my drawing. A speech bubble. It came from Dad's superhero character, a version of him in a red cape, holding a pencil like a sword. The bubble said, "Keep going, kiddo. You've got the magic now." And I believed it. School, I started showing my drawings again. Not all of them, just the ones that felt ready. My art teacher said I had something special. I didn't tell her that something had a name, and it was Dad. On his birthday, I tied a few of my favorite drawings to balloons. I watched them rise into the sky, bumping into each other like they were playing. I waved and whispered, "Don't lose these." Then I smiled, because I knew he wouldn't. Now, I still draw every week, still sign the back, still write a tiny note for Dad. Sometimes I keep them, sometimes I give them away. But no matter where they go, I know the first person who sees them is him. I used to save my drawings for him. Now I share them because of him. Because he taught me that imagination is a bridge. And even if someone's gone, you can still meet them there. If this story touched your heart, leave a like to help more people find this video. And if you want to hear more stories told through a child's eyes, subscribe to the channel. Every click from you is like a hug for someone who's felt too much longing.